Alright, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Myra Breckinridge, 1970, rated X. DVD from 20th Century Fox had two versions. Fortunately, the rated X theatrical version on Site B, and then there's the special edition version on Site A with 3 extra minutes of Rex Reed masturbating in front of a buffet of junk food. This movie has a reputation for being one of the worst movies of all time. This is the director's first and only movie. I guess he was on drugs quite literally during the production, and the only people who thought it was funny were the producers. At least that's what I got from the special features. There are tons of special features on this, including some cool theatrical trailers with Raquel Welch, the first being Bandolero, which she started in 2 years previous to this. There's some kind of ambulance movie that she was in during the mid-70s, but I guess she didn't get much work after this movie, and rightly so. I give it 1 out of 5 stars. The dialogue is hard to follow. The movie doesn't make any sense, and it's got really annoying dialogue. John Carradine thinks he's funny with his penis jokes. In the beginning, Rex Reed is a movie critic, not even a professional actor. Plays Myra Breckinridge. He dreams about getting his dingling chopped off, which is kind of odd. Usually you take hormones before the detaching the dingling, but I guess it's every transsexual's fantasy to chop off the dingling. So it's hard to tell if this movie is a dream or a reality. Especially considering that Rex Reed is a white guy and Raquel Welch is half Bolivian. I don't care, with or without a dingling, Rex Reed would look like a monster if he ever got a sex change in real life. So that part was unrealistic. They also hired a non-actor, John Huston, who was a director, to play Myra's uncle. See, Rex Reed or Myron transforms into Myra after he gets his dingling chopped off. So suddenly that magically turns him into Raquel Welch? I don't think so. And even more confusing, he's got this alter ego kind of schizophrenia, male-female thing going on. I guess he can't get rid of his male identity. Don't know what that's all about. So he wants to get revenge on the world, I guess. I'm not sure what his big beef is, but he thinks the world is corrupted by overpopulation. It's probably the director's idea. Gore Vidal wrote the book, by the way, this movie is based on. Gore Vidal should have removed his name from the movie like he did with Caligula the year before this one came out. Gore Vidal said this movie hurt his sales of the book for the next decade. It's got horrible acting, an atrocious script, incomprehensible direction. For instance, what is the ending? Well, I guess in the book, Gore Vidal says, that Myra Breckinridge, the man, becomes Myra Breckinridge, the woman, who then becomes Myron Breckinridge, the man again. But as John Carradine said in the first sequence there, John Carradine plays this stone doctor who operates on Rex Reed to detach his thingamajig. John Carradine says, well, once it's gone, you can't grow it back. So I guess when you get hit by a car, that's when you transform back to the body that you were born with, or at least I didn't understand the ending at all. And Raquel Welch as Myra Breckinridge, the transsexual with the detached dingling. She proves in this movie that she cannot act. She never could act. That's why they didn't give her many lines up until this movie. I think her career was much better before she made this movie. At least she could get acting roles. She was under the false delusion that she could act, and this was her big chance. She was fighting with Mae West the whole time. I guess they didn't like each other. Like I said, the entire crew was probably stoned during when this thing was filmed. Not just John Carradine pretending like he was stoned while he was operating on. There's even a judge, the Perry Mason guy. What's his name? He's in it too. He smokes a joint after I don't know. After debilitating in his courtroom hearing, he just pulls out a book. There happens to be a joint inside. They talk about Hollywood as if it's dominated by communists. Like that's supposed to be funny. Actually, it's closer to reality than spoofing Hollywood. And I guess that's supposed to be the gist of Gore Vidal's book. He's supposed to be spoofing Hollywood and doing this satire on Hollywood while talking about transsexualism, how it's somehow possible to go from being a man to a woman and then back to a man again. Somebody's got to explain that to me, but I don't know. It's too advanced for me. Even in San Francisco, I never heard of such a thing. Anyways, so Rex Reed, or Myron Breckinridge, is a big-time movie buff, 30s and 40s movies, black and white stuff. So you see a lot of black and white clips interspersed with the 1970 color film. And it's supposed to be funny too because the scenes are carefully placed. So when there's some kind of extreme reaction or something, then or some kind of emotion, then the black and white clip plays. bunch of lame-ass Laurel and Hardy jokes mostly. And some Shirley Temple. I guess Shirley Temple made them remove one scene where she's milking a goat because she was U.S. ambassador to the United Nations back then for Tricky Dick. Her daughter didn't turn out too great. She ended up becoming a guitar player for the Melvins. So that scene, I guess, is missing, where Shirley Temple's milking the goat. And there's another scene that got cut out too because one of the actresses in the black and white movie sued. Rex Reed said they were all waiting in their dressing rooms for the lawyers to arrive. Kind of similar to Caligula, troubled production. That's probably why there are 3 different versions of this. At least that's the impression I got on Netflix. There's supposed to be another version, the unrated version, that's not even on this disc. The difference between the X-rated theatrical version on side B and the special edition version on side A is that masturbation scene that I mentioned. It's about 3 minutes long. Has nothing to do with the rest of the movie, according to Rex Reed. And there's another scene where Raquel Welch says motherfucker, but it's bleeped out. On the X-rated version, it's not bleeped out. On the special edition version, I guess those are the only differences between the two. So Myra Breckinridge wants to get revenge on her uncle, on her rich uncle who teaches drama school in Southern California. So she says that she married Myra Breckinridge in Mexico, and one half of the estate is hers. So she wants $1 million. She wants $1,000 a week to be a teacher there so she can teach the drama students about movies from the 30s and 40s, and they just look at her kind of blank stare on their face. One of the students is Farrah Fawcett. The only reason she's going to this drama school is to be with her boyfriend. Mae West, I don't even know what she's doing in this movie or what her relation is to anyone in this movie. I think she just wanted to be in it so that she could sing her song, which is god awful, by the way. I guess she plays some kind of agent for male actors. And it's kind of a cover for her to have sex with younger men. She looks like she's in her 70s. And apparently, according to Rex Reed, she had cataracts and she couldn't see during the filming. So Raquel Welch and Mae West were arguing over what colored dress they should wear. It must have been very tense kind of set during the filming of this flick, and it cost a lot of money, like $4.5 million, I think they said. The junk food buffet display, Rex Reed said it cost $30,000 just for that 3 minutes of nothing related to the movie. So I think the worst movie of all time label is well deserved. In this case, it's not one of those so bad that it's good type movies. Just because it has horrible acting, the script doesn't make any sense. Some of the lines are annoying. You have to, or um, the dialogue is so bad you have to rewind to figure out what they're trying to say. That kind of stuff. So it's hard. It was hard to sit through this, and so Raquel Welch is trying to get revenge on um, his uncle. I guess she's got a split personality because Rex Reed and Raquel Welch are walking together or they're talking to each other, even though Rex Reed supposedly died. He's still the other half of her brain or something. I'm not sure. But as soon as she gets hit by a car, she transforms back to Rex Reed, which doesn't make sense. Like I said, sorry that I spoiled the ending, but it's not much of an ending to begin with. And so Raquel Welch can't get revenge on society enough. So she decides to do this lame ass Yahoo with the cowboy hat kind of thing. I don't know if she's got a strap on dildo, but it looks like she's giving anal to Farrah Fawcett's boyfriend with her dildo. And then supposedly that turns him into gay guy. This redneck hillbilly turns gay. I find that hard to believe. But then how could he be gay if he's sleeping with Mae West? That doesn't make any sense. None of this movie makes sense. And then she tries to get revenge on Farrah Fawcett by turning her into a lesbian. But for some reason, Farrah Fawcett doesn't want her to go too far other than touching her breast, I guess. You get to see Farrah Fawcett's breast for about 1 second. There's a scene where they're I guess they're rehearsing simulated sex in a bed at the drama school. And I don't know if that's Raquel Welch in the bed or who that is, because you just see the back of her head. But there's quite a lot of nudity in this, mostly breasts. There's no full frontal, really. So I don't know why it gets an X rating. Matter of fact, it says rated R on the disc, even though the side B is X rated. So it shows how low the standards have gone in terms of nudity, at least in film. Well, probably the X rating in 1970 was probably a marketing shtick to get more perverts into the movie theaters. They even make jokes about Rex Reed being gay, and because he likes to watch old movies, and he's one of these 42nd Street kind of low-life guys. That's supposed to be funny. Anyway, I thought it was a sweeping generalization. Just because you like old movies, it doesn't follow that you're gay. necessarily. But I did work with a transsexual who was into older movies. He got his penis chopped off, and he looked like a woman. He fooled me for the longest time until I did the high five, and his hand was kind of rough. But Chinese guy, I guess it's easier to do the transition. Anyways, and I guess he couldn't reproduce, so his mother found a baby in China. Now he's over there taking care of the baby as a woman, since he can't reproduce, and I guess cloning is illegal. So I've seen the reconstructed folded skin that they do post-surgery, and it doesn't look very nice to me. It doesn't look very appealing. So anyways, I guess it's more of a thing where they feel like they need to be a woman, and Dinkaling reminds them that they're not a woman. At least that's what I learned from Doris Wishman flick called "Let Me Die a Woman." Greatest transsexual movie of all time, in my opinion. Love Doris Wishman. Anyway, this is nothing like Doris Wishman. It's so bad that it's bad, and it stinks, and I hate this fucking piece of shit. Anyways, that's about all I have to say about this movie. Don't bother watching it. When they say it's the worst movie of all time, they're not joking. You gotta really torture yourself for an hour and a half to sit through it, because it makes absolutely no sense at all. I mean, why is Myra Breckinridge going after why is he going after John Huston, her uncle? I guess he wants to fight the patriarchy to prove that he's actually a woman. I have no idea what the motivation is behind that. Or maybe he just hates society in general. But that doesn't make any sense if he's into guys. If he prefers guys instead of gals, why would he go then and get revenge on them? So there's that contradiction that I didn't quite understand. Maybe somebody can explain it to me, but anyways, not a great flick. I didn't think Raquel Welch was convincing as a transsexual. Usually transsexuals have a man face without the Adam's apple, and just long stringy hair, long thin hair, or long thick hair, I should say. And it just looks like a man's face with long hair and no Adam's apple. Unless you're Asian, you can pull off more feminine face, I guess. People from Thailand or China or Korea or Japan are better looking transsexuals, but just didn't seem very realistic. Rex Reed to Raquel Welch. No, I don't think so. Not in a million years. No pun intended. Raquel Welch's first movie appearance was 1 million years BC, where she didn't have any lines. I guess she was grunting the whole time. I've never actually seen that movie, but it looks like a bunch of giant iguanas and dinosaurs, clay stop-action dinosaurs fighting with each other, stuff like that. Not too much dialogue. Same as Bandolero. She didn't really say much, playing the pretend Mexican lady. Anyways, did I cover everything? I think I did. Interesting that there are alternate versions of this, similar to Caligula, which is also Gore Vidal's handiwork at one point before he removed his name. So that was one of the motivations behind me wanting to see this. It wasn't in the Psychotronic video guide for some odd reason. But I wanted to see it because I enjoyed Caligula so much. And I wanted to see another movie adoption of Gore Vidal's books. I've never been a fan of his books. I've never read any of his books. But I was a big fan of Caligula movie, which was the film adaptation, I guess, his screenplay. So, I'm not much of a book reader, I'm more of a movie watcher, especially when it comes to novels. He had some interesting political beliefs. He was on firing line with William F. Buckley a bunch of times. I wonder if they were buddies, but anyway. So I used to see him a lot on firing line. Not that I really cared about what he had to say, but some of his political stuff makes sense, like on foreign policy, for instance. I'm not saying he's all that bad of a guy, but he certainly knows how to write better than William F. Buckley. At least from the adapted screenplays that I've seen on film, which is very little of his writing, by the way. And it's not a very good indicator of what kind of writer he was if the films were nothing like books. In the trailer, they say this Myra Breckinridge was the film that couldn't be filmed. Well, I guess they found 20th Century Fox to unload millions of dollars, thinking that the hippie culture would watch this like it was some kind of Russ Meyer type flick. Not. I guess you could call this the mainstream version of Russ Meyer. What happens when you hire an untalented director with zero experience and similar type actors? This is the result. Anyways, I doubt that we'll ever see a movie like this in our lifetime, but I'm going through all the worst movies on my Netflix queue. So I'm going to watch Birdemic, Shock and Terror, some Yui Bowl kind of video game movie. What else? Garbage Pail Kids movie. I'm gonna watch Jiggly or Giggly, whatever it's called. What else we got? Oh, Howard the Duck. I want to see that. George Lucas commercial flop. I think George Lucas started going downhill after the third Star Wars movie, where he put in a bunch of teddy bear looking creatures. The Ewoks. Anyways, that's the end of my review. I'm sure I'm going to sit through a bunch more movies, but none of them will ever match Myra Breckinridge. I have a suspicion. We'll see. I'm going to sift through them and see if I can find something similar, but there's nothing quite like this movie, I guess you could say. There's